There's an old saying in politics, perception is reality. Meaning what? Spin, whatever they make you believe, can become all there is. Spin can win. That's why I insist on exposing this deadly game of political extremism. It is a true battle to the bottom that is killing our democracy. And I know I'm on the right side of history because this system will change. It has to, because the many will not be held hostage by the few forever. And the game of partisan extremism only works for the uniparty and their pod and political players. So, see the game. Exhibit A, the Supreme Court decision, Trump v. Casa last month. The spin from the left was the decision cleared the way to end birthright citizenship. It cleared the way for President Trump to be a dictator and orders. This is baloney. They know it, and I can prove it. But do you know, perversely, who agreed with the far left? MAGA did. Why? The game, my friends. Both sides lie about what happened to shape your perception, to fear the right thing that empowers them. Reality is not enough for either faction. Only extreme provocations to keep their factions fixated on fear. So for MAGA, it was, yeah, you should think Trump can do whatever he wants. That's what we need. The Supreme Court never touched birthright citizenship. That's the reality. They narrowed federal district judges' ability to issue nationwide injunctions, and it was reasonable. Why do I say that? Because the justices left open a district court's ability to create nationwide compliance if the plaintiffs involved, the people suing, represent a class of folks who exist across the country, right? If the lawsuit is about people who are everywhere, then your ruling can apply to everywhere. So guess what happened today? Neither side is going to tell you this because it doesn't help them. A federal judge in a class action case, meaning from all over the country, just issued a nationwide injunction on Trump's birthright citizenship executive order. That is the avenue that was left by the court, and it was just pursued. And neither of the fringe are going to talk to you about it because it doesn't scare you. It's just a reasonable outcome. Exhibit B, the Epstein fiasco. And that's what it is, a massive failure. And it's not going away for President Trump and co. The irony is it will be their own people existing on the extreme who will keep it alive. For the record, I do not believe there is an Epstein client list. I do not believe there are videos with big-time celebrities doing horrible things to kids, okay? And you know who agrees with me? Julie K. Brown, probably the best-sourced reporter on the Epstein case, whose reporting led to his arrest. She reported, quote, "Those who have worked with the FBI on the case for decades say there's no evidence Epstein kept a ledger or a list of clients who were involved with his sex trafficking operation." But this isn't about the truth. It's about the perception of perfidy that Trump's people fed for years. And by the way, I also know there are public people who were close to Epstein and his lifestyle, if not his disgusting habits. And I understand the need for the Trump administration to show discretion just as Biden did. Why? Because it's not wrong to protect people's reputations if they did nothing illegal. Today, the media and too many of you on social media love to play with allegations as if they were facts. But the government has to be careful because they're not some anonymous keyboard crazy, right? Especially when the people that they might expose have the means to sue the government and may win. Why? They could probably show that the government knew that these people had done nothing illegal and yet fueled the suggestion that they were like Epstein and did so knowing it would damage their reputations. And by the way, this mess is not on Trump. It's on the conspiracists that he picked to be around him who trafficked in Epstein nonsense to pump up podcasts. Receipts, you say? That's easy.
Release the list.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list?
See? I said it was on her desk. I asked the AG to come on all the time. She has an open invitation. What did she mean when she said that? Because if it was on her desk, how does it not exist? Now, those little FBI bros said that this was all about the deep state and the elite, and you saw Cash sitting with that kook, right? See, but now that he's got to be accountable, because he's not part of the clown show, right? In digital media where there's no accountability and it's all just about being extreme and provocative and having hot takes. Now that he's got to own his BS, he and Bongino say what? Oh, no, it's nothing there. It was a suicide. Yeah, it was a suicide. This is a classic case of getting hoisted on your own petard. Look it up, P-E-T-A-R-D. It's a French expression. It means blown up by the bomb you made. And this is what you get for playing the extremism game. Now you have fringe fanatics, and they are not satisfied with anything less than extreme perception. And the same extreme opposition is why Trump strikes in Iran were immediately called ineffective. We didn't know. Why were so many in such a rush to say they had failed? It's the Trump sucks movement. It's its own extreme contagion on the left and in some media outlets. It requires everything he does to be seen as a failure because he is the devil. Trump didn't help his cause by saying the regime's nuclear program was completely obliterated. He didn't know that either. But still, this false perception, and I don't believe Trump is the standard, okay? I don't report to you and argue to you and relate to you the way I believe he does. He does him, I do me, okay? But this false perception is that they've been ineffective. That is happening still today. There's a new bombshell report out in the Times today, and look at the headline. Some of Iran's enriched uranium survived attacks, Israeli official says. Now, that's a we're screwed headline, right? That's a, uh-oh, they can make a bomb still, right? Right? They know that. They know you're going to take it like that. The perception is Trump failed and the regime can make a bomb. What's the reality? Deep down in the piece, deep down, you had to read this one. How many people do you think click on a piece this day? Otherwise, they just look at the headline. 6 out of 10. Guess how many will read just halfway? 1 in 4 of us. Only 25% read halfway. Do you know who knows that? The Times and other dirty people in the media. That's why buried down in the piece where they know you won't read, but they can cover their hiney. The New York Times writes that the equipment needed to enrich the uranium to make a nuke had been damaged or destroyed, probably beyond repair. A little different than the headline, huh? And they say, they quote an Israeli official in the headline, right? Well, I guess it wasn't the same one because Israel is not concerned. Because any attempts by Iran to recover the uranium would be detected and there would be time to attack the facilities again. Wah, wah. Talk about perverting perception to distort reality. This is also why you're hearing so little about the ICE officers being attacked. Even though there's still a manhunt underway for another member of the team, a 12th. Since when is terrorism ignored in America? I'll tell you when. Since terrorism is being perpetrated more domestically by our own, and they're with one of these two crazy sides. So the sides are quiet about terrorism unless it works in their favor. So-called Democratic leaders afraid they're going to have to own these crazy lefties who committed this act of terrorism. And many in the media, let's be honest, they're in no rush to cover this because they don't want to piss off the radical left. See the game. Here, we discuss what's real, and we try to shed the perception. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.